I hired a hitman for myself on the dark web. The dark web has always intrigued me, but I'd only ever been on there a couple of times to buy substances for personal use. I'd never seen anything too horrifying on there. That was until the other day when I made the terrible decision to boot up my Tor browser and try and see what sort of messed up crap I could find on the dark web. If you've ever been on the dark web, you'll know that you can't just search up red rooms or hitman for hire and get results. No, you have to find links to these websites first. Now, normally the average person wouldn't be this interested in something like a hitman, but I'm different. To me, life is Roblox. I don't care what happens to me. At least that's what I used to tell myself. I wish I never kept searching. This was the biggest mistake of my life. I hopped back onto Google again to try and find some links to a messed up website. I know it's weird that I was actively searching for the worst, but as soon as I got on the dark web that night, I had a sense of morbid curiosity overcome me. But still, I found absolutely nothing. In one final attempt, I clicked on Reddit. Hoping onto our deep web, I didn't think I would find anything. So I just scrolled through hot for about half an hour before sorting by new. Then I found it. One simple text post titled, "Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services." In the text box in the post was what seemed to be just a random assortment of numbers and letters. It took my tired brain a second to figure out what it was, but I realized pretty quickly. It was a link, presumably to a hitman website. So I decided to paste the link into my dark web browser, and what do you know, it worked. Up along the top of the website was its name, Slayer's Assassination and Life-Ruining Services, and next to it what looked to be a skull inside of a crosshair. I chuckled when I saw that the site must be fake. Upon scrolling down, however, I was not disappointed. There was a paragraph of white text on a black background, and a small box to the right of the text that just said, "Place an order." The text was the main part, though, as it took up most of the page. It read, "Slayer's Assassinations and Life-Ruining Services offers everything from acid attack, crippling, blinding, beatings, and good old death. We have the lowest prices out of any other company running similar services, and we are worldwide. We have a dedicated and experienced group of staff based all over the world. So if you need someone to be assassinated, or maybe you just want them scarred for life, don't hesitate to contact us." Again, I laughed. This had to be satire, right? Hell, I was even tempted to order it on someone just to see what would happen. Ironically, I actually have a half-decent job, so I can afford to. Better not to risk it, though, I thought to myself. I was about to close my computer and call it for a night when I heard a knock at the door. I live alone, so it was unusual to get visitors, especially so late at night. But when I opened my door, it was just my good buddy Mark, who also happened to be my weed plug. As I opened the door, he didn't hesitate to let himself in and shove a big baggie full of pot in my face. "This dude, if the best crap I've had in a minute, we gotta try some." I couldn't say no. Cut to a couple hours later, it's early morning, and Mark and I are chilling on my couch, both blazed as hell. He suddenly decides to get up, and I assume he's going to get some leftover pizza. But he walks over to my desk and computer. "Slayer's Assassinations, are you gonna kill someone or something?" He mutters. "What?" I reply. "Your computer, dude, it's got some hacker crap on it. It's the dark web, man, don't mess with it." At this point, I'm still on my couch, half asleep and not paying full attention. However, I sat up pretty fast when he said the words, "Hey man, let's order a hitman on you." I hopped up and walked over to my PC. Part of my brain was screaming, "No, what the F are you doing?" But the majority of my brain was thinking about how funny it would be to order a hitman on myself. So, I agree. At the end, after I wrote down all my personal details, like my address, age, and even a photo, I had to select what I wanted to happen to me. I just selected plain old assassination, as it was actually cheaper than some of the other things. I could have paid an extra couple of grand to be beaten before my death, but even my high brain didn't want to splash the cash too much on my own death. God, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I placed the order and then replied to a confirmation email, and boom, it was done. A couple of clicks and I had ordered myself on the dark web. Mark and I laughed about it for a while, but then he left about an hour later and I fell asleep not too long after. I woke up around 9 a.m., which meant I got at least 6 hours of sleep, even if it felt like I got 3. I got up and out of bed, threw on some track pants and a cotton shirt, and brewed myself a coffee before sitting down to play some games and just enjoy my Sunday. You can imagine how shocked I was when I saw that I had ordered my death the previous night. Even though I thought the site was bullcrap, I still felt a pit open up in my stomach. Even when I'm high, I usually can make sensible decisions. I chuckled, not like I could remember it anyway. But I guess Mark's new stuff really was good. I would assume a normal human being would do something else, but I was still kind of out of it from the night before, so I just carried on with my day. I was a little more paranoid, sure, but as I said, I just assumed it was bullcrap. I even laughed at the email I got from the website saying that their hitman has been dispatched and was on its way. It was like ordering a package from Amazon, but I didn't need to ask because that's exactly what I got. I didn't see it arrive, but around the time I started to cook myself dinner, I noticed a blacked-out sedan parked on the other side of the road from my house. I didn't live in a rural area, but there are a lot of trees and bushes between each of the houses on my street, so I would be surprised if any other house saw the car except for mine. At this point, I was freaking out. What if the site was real? Even though I'm a big guy, I was freaking out. I don't own any weapons, aside from a slightly larger than average kitchen knife. Screw it, I'm confronting it, I decided. I put on a hoodie and slid the knife into the front pocket before waltzing out of my house and walking right up to the driver's side window of the vehicle. Even I was astonished at my own courage. Knocking on the window, nothing happened. It was rather anticlimactic. I was fully prepared to have to fight for my life, all because I did something really dumb while I was baked. But like I said, nothing happened. I even put my head right up to the window as if there was a reflection to try and get a better look to see what's inside. I could barely see what was inside of the car, but all I could make out were 2 empty seats. No one was even inside. I had got all hyped up for nothing. I decided to wait out by the car for a bit, but after half an hour or so, I was hungry, and I had to go back inside to take my dinner out of the oven. I swear it was only a minute between me going inside to take my dinner out of the oven and looking back out of the window and the car being gone. I didn't even hear it go. Guess I'm eating my dinner with all my curtains closed and doors locked, I muttered to myself. I had just started to calm down when the power shut off. It was sunny outside, and coupled with the car, I now knew that this was the real deal. I had signed my own death warrant. I ran into my upstairs bedroom and locked the door, and then hid under the bed. I knew I couldn't call anybody. They wouldn't believe me even though I was telling the truth. I laid there for a while, hoping that this was just a big mistake and that there wasn't actually a hitman here to murder me. But as I was getting ready to crawl out from under my bed, I heard my bedroom door open and saw a big pair of black boots step inside.